But I will turn it over to Teresa Weaver and her crew here from Pleasant Street Elementary.
It's fun that we get to be here in January for board recognition as we explain to the boys today what you all do and the time that you commit. So if you're sending encouraging emails to my staff, thank you. If you're subbing in my building, thank you. If you're attending our programs and being there with us, thank you. But most importantly, just thank you for the work that you do that supports us so that we can support our students. So that was really fun. I didn't even think about the fact that our boys would get to see that tonight. So I'm just going to be here for a brief moment because some very handsome young men are going to come up in my place. But good evening and Happy New Year. January is a great time to reflect on the previous year and to reset for the upcoming year. Tonight I'm going to share one of many things that I'm grateful for at Pleasant Street for this school year. And most importantly, that we have a staff that legitimately puts their students and their student needs before their own. Brock Evans is one example of this, as would be my fifth grade team, part of my fifth grade team that's sitting in the back of the room when everything that they do is putting their students before them. Brock often has it on his heart and mind to find ways to help our young boys be given exposure and opportunities to become fine young men and leaders. He's been an integral part of this at Pleasant Street during my 6.5 years here, and we're always brainstorming new ways to do this and to grow these young men. And likely he was doing this well before I ever arrived. And Guys with Ties is one example of his heartfelt mission to serve our students. And even indirectly, this ends up serving our staff. So I would like to introduce you to Mr. Evans, and this is about half of our Guys with Ties. They're going to come up and spend some time with you this evening. So gentlemen, come on up. Let me step aside.
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of Pleasant Street Elementary School, and thank you, board, for allowing us to be here today. As Mrs. Weaver said, this is something that's kind of been on my heart for a little while over the last number of years. I think it was about 5 years ago I went to Mrs. Weaver about this program, knowing that there's some similar programs in other school districts and such. As a friend of mine through the State Physical Education Convention that I attend every year in the winter, developed and started to run in his school district. And it was something I thought, man, why in the world isn't this something that we should be doing at Pleasant Street in particular? Knowing what some of the boys at Pleasant Street need, and also knowing what we could provide as young men at Pleasant Street for both our school as well as also even our students and our community as well. Some of the things, if we go, yep. So I'd like to just take a couple minutes here just to talk a little bit about what we have going on right now. It's obviously, it is a group for boys being called Guys and Ties. Rumor is that some girls want something with girls and curls. But the Guys and Ties has started. It has kind of come up. So it's already a little bit of a buzz in the school. And it's because of these guys and some of the things that we're trying to teach and we're talking about in our meetings. One of the things that we have happens to be our motto, which our motto, gentlemen, we always try and talk about is what? Look good, feel good, do good. That's something that we really feel like that we need to do. I think all of us know that if we look good and we take care of ourselves and we look in the mirror and know that we end up feeling good, and then we can do good. Then another thing is just learning how to be a gentleman. I know one of our first meetings we talked about making sure that I know in my class, I always make sure that the girls go first when they ever get any equipment in my class, and we talked about that in one of our first meetings. And then I catch word of mouth that as the kids were lining up in class, some of the boys were like, hey, wait, no, girls, you need to go first. And I thought that was pretty cool that already kind of started to establish. So we're learning to be gentlemen as well. With that also, learning on, we meet during our meetings, they all go and get their lunches, we meet and we eat lunch together. And what do we have to do once everybody gets there? What do we do first?
We have a moment of silence. Then we have a moment of gratitude.
Yep, so we pray, and then we will have a moment of silence with that, where some people that would like to pray may pray, or they may also not to. They can just kind of have a moment of reflection. Then we have an attitude of gratitude where we share that. But we don't touch our food until everybody is seated, and we end up having that because that's one of the things that we feel that is pretty important for all of us to do, which then brings us into us being a family. We talk about all the time is that we're all family. We need to be family. We need to treat each other like family, regardless if we're really family or not. And then being leaders in the school. That's pretty big, because I think leadership is something that our community, as well as our world right now, might be lacking, to put it pretty bluntly. So we're trying to talk about how we do that, whether it's picking up trash that we might see, or even today, I know I had a couple kids sticking around because some things got left after the meeting that they picked up and got to the right people, and those are the little things that matter. And then living our principles, which 3 of these young men are going to be talking about our principles that we have, that we try to live and try to instill. What are some things we're doing? I already mentioned we've got some meetings. We have different topics that we talk about. One of them, obviously, we talked about ladies first and about how to treat ladies also, as well as how do we treat and respect our elders. But then also even about our first impressions. And gentlemen, could you guys go ahead and do something we talked about already with our first impressions? You guys remember what we said we were going to do? Go ahead. Look, go ahead, Josh. Go, Jacob. You got it. How do we do this?
I'm Jeff.
Wait.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, my name's Nice to meet you. Well, my name's Lieutenant.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Josh, hi, I'm Mary. Nice to meet you.
Meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
This is one of the things that we talked about within one of our first meetings too, because as a man, that's one of the things we have to have is a good first impression, because we all, I know that, it's your first impression that really sets the tone for anything. And knowing as these guys grow up, hopefully, to have a family of their own also in the workforce, first impression is very important. And something as simple as a handshake is very important, because it says a lot when you look at somebody in the eyes and you stay square to them and you do that and show that confidence. So that's something that we've talked about, as well as our dining etiquette, treating others with respect. Also, even our community service and how we're trying to serve others, as we all came together for the Christmas program that we had at Pleasant Street. And some of you, thank you for attending that. You may have seen some of these young men right here working the doors, opening the doors for individuals, as well as passing out the programs. So we're also looking to try and give back as well. And then we're going to have some guest speakers this year. I've already spoken with some of you may know a gentleman by the name of Stephen Rhodes in town, who is a brigadier general for the United States military, currently retired now. But he has graciously, when he heard about the program, graciously volunteered to come in and speak to the gentleman at some point in time about leadership, as well as another individual who went to school at West Elementary School. When I say West Elementary School, when I say that, many of you know what side of the town we're talking about at some point in time and what his background was, who now works for United States Immigration, ended up graduating high school from here, went on to the military, had a declarated service in the Marine Corps, and is now even working hand in hand with the U.S. Marshals through U.S. Immigration. He's also going to be coming and speaking, as well as a few other guest speakers that we're going to have. Then on a monthly basis, we're going to be meeting weekly, and on a monthly basis, we're going to be dressing up like this for school. Matter of fact, on January 19th, I let the guys vote on when we might want to do this and what day we would do it, but we're all going to show up at school early and welcome all the students as they get off the bus, as well as they get dropped off at the drop-off line. We're going to be there to give them high fives. We're going to be dressed in our ties and welcoming them to school to get them excited. So then, I mentioned already earlier about our program principles, and I want the guys to tell you a little bit about the program principles. So we have 3 program principles that we're talking about with this, and that's pride, purpose, and passion. And this kind of came through with talking to some individuals that you'll notice our ties and our shirts. These were graciously donated. We have had some private donors that have stepped up when I was kind of sharing some ideas that I wanted that immediately said, this is something that I want, what can I do to help? Everything from staff members to people I know privately and personally that have stepped up and done so, to the point where you as the board were so gracious to be able to allow us to start our own account within our treasury department to be able to have that, to make these kind of purchases for the program. But as you can see, we have our 3 words of pride, purpose, and passion. At this time, I'd like to call my man Wade up, as he's going to tell you a little bit about pride.
Having pride in ourselves, having pride in our school, having pride in our work, having pride in our daily life.
So this is something that we talk about quite a bit, is always what type of pride can we have and what is pride, and being able to do that in school as well as out of school. And then next I'm going to have Josh come up and talk about what is our purpose and what is some things that we do.
Our purpose is to serve others, be kind, be positive, and share love while being grateful for what we have.
We try and talk about that, as like we already said, that every time we sit down to talk, or every time we sit down to eat, we talk about what is our attitude of gratitude, what can we be thankful for that day, but then also even outside of us, how can we, whether it's about we've been talking about dogs lately, haven't we guys? Just something even simple as that we might take for granted that we got to be thankful for. And then last but not least, my man Corey's going to come up and talk about passion and what passion means to us.
When we do something, no matter what we do, it's with all of your heart, soul, and energy, displaying effort and attitude.
It's pretty plain and simple right there. If you're passionate about something, you're doing it with all your heart and soul and having great effort and great attitude. So this is something that's exciting, and these are my guys and ties, and I don't know if anybody would have any questions for any of them or anything like that, so thank you.
I have a question, so I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So you've got, this is about half, you said?
Yes.
So just a couple of the guys can answer. What made you interested in being or wanting to be a part of this group?
You're all so shy now.
They are
Let me tell you.
You're not shy.
They are not. I can tell you Mrs. Harris and Mrs. Tripp are sitting back there. They're teachers and they're like, who are these boys up here? Maybe
I
we should put
remember-
ties on them all the time.
One of
Okay,
us
Josh,
is
why would you want to join this group?
Yes.
He doesn't remember. Remember why? It was a while back. Jacob?
I know why, but I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
You feel good when you're in your ties and your sport coat?
Get to wear ties.
These were ties, yeah, there you go.
And while at our lunches, we don't have to listen to like every single kid in 5th grade talk.
Good.
Have there been other guys who have said, man, how can I be a part of this group? Some of them, a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask if any of you gentlemen would respond. Have you found that your relationships on the playground are a little bit better, that you can help maybe some of the other students who maybe are acting out? What are the kinds of things that you've noticed that has changed for you? Anything in particular?
On the playground, I have not been getting in that much trouble. I used to get in a lot of trouble.
Ah,
Well, good for you.
that's
Great
wonderful.
job. Great job.
Now you have to be a model, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure the kindergartners really look up to you. And they will really have some questions when you come in those ties someday. It's fantastic. So proud of you.
I wanted to say how impressed I was the night of the Christmas program when they met us at the door. They were so outgoing and so welcoming, and it was just very impressive. So you did a great job. And thank you for being here tonight.
Absolutely.
My favorite thing is morning duty, and my concern is on January 19th when they're greeting my students, I might be out of a morning job.
Well, maybe you can go fetch a cup of coffee for your principal.
I would be serving others, wouldn't I? You better get my coffee first.
Yes, I
No, ladies first.
Well played. Well played.
That's perfect.
Yes.
There was also a conversation today about respecting elders.
You guys might have just seen a little bit of a handshake too. That's
Maybe
only our group that knows that. And we could probably share it with them. Do you guys want to share with them what each part of that handshake means?
It's pride, purpose, and passion.
Right, and then yep, and then the last one's not necessarily a principle, but it's for ourselves. So as they do that, that's what each one of them, each moment they touch equals that. So it's 4 things and it equals pride, purpose, passion, and love.
And just building these relationships is awesome. It really is.
Thank you.
Great.
How did your, anybody that have any siblings at home? And has that helped a little bit? Has this helped you? Well, I'm sure that your parents appreciate it, or your mom and dad or your grandparents appreciate that you're in this program. I know I certainly do. And I thank Mr. Evans and for your support, Mrs. Weaver.
Oh my goodness, no problem. We've done some other things similar in the past that were little, very small scale,
Yeah.
spending time with the kids. And we had a group in Mr. Evans' room and a group in Mrs. Reyes when she was my music teacher.
Do you look to expand the group at all, or are you going to keep it at a smaller scale, Mr. Evans?
Well, this year we decided to do it with the fifth grade first. It's something that we may end up looking at maybe only doing it in third grade. We wanted to see it with the older boys first and then maybe start it just in third. That way then it can continue from what they're learning in third, then they can still continue to be those leaders in fourth and fifth. And then all of a sudden we have 3 grade levels of leaders as
Right.
opposed to just right now. Not saying that the others do not have leaders, but as opposed to right now being at fifth grade. And we just felt, after talking to Mrs. Harrison, Mrs. Tripp, as well as some of the other staff, that we just felt that this would be a great group to be able to start it with, to be able to start some of that modeling behavior. At the same time, because this group likes to be together and have some fun.
Well, thank you.
Thank
And I
you.
know some of you have brought some, your parents with you. Would you like to introduce who's here with you today or tonight?
Attaboy, Dwayne.
Go ahead,
My
Dwayne.
mom's here today.
I think what's mom's name?
What's her name?
Robin.
Robin? Yes. Jacob?
My mom's here. She's back there. Her name is Jessica.
What?
My dad's here, and his name is Charlie.
Charlie?
My grandma's here, and her name is Lori.
So excited about it.
Go
My
ahead,
mom
Lauren.
and my brother is here. My mom's name is Brittany.
Brittany? 5. And who's last? One more.
My mom and dad aren't here.
He brought his teachers.
My mom and dad are here. Brittany and Jason.
And I brought my teachers.
Welcome, thank you.
And then you guys want to introduce your teacher?
Uh-huh.
Where they're at?
Good to Mrs. Harris, but Mrs. Mayhem's not here. Yeah. And she couldn't make it.
Well, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you, parents, grandparents, for bringing them.
Yeah.
We're going to do a really quick picture. So walk up kind of in front of the board and I'll step back. Mr. Evans will join you. And then this, do you guys mind if I, is that okay? Great idea. Sorry.
Here, if I'm by you for it.
Oh, was that on purpose?
Oh, it's actually
Smart man.
taller than me.
Yeah.
But they haven't got.
Well, they.
All right, everyone ready? Okay. Oh, we're changing our body posture. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
All right, everyone, including board members and Mr. Cedar.
Good for you.
1, 2, 3. Thank you for doing that for us. Gentlemen.
Gentlemen,
Good job, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You can pick up a cookie on your way by.
Like, well, look at that. Now they're all about it.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Mr. Cedar, it's okay to excuse them.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, I know you guys probably have work to do. You're welcome to stay. But at the same time, it's okay if you decide you want to leave right now, escape and go. And thank you so much for attending.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Thanks, everybody.